Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Watch. Good to see you all again, and here to share a video I've been waiting to do for a long time. It's my State of the Collection 2022 video. This is the first video of this kind I've ever done here on the channel, and what I'm going to be doing is just going through and sharing some of the highlights watches that I've collected since I've really got into this hobby in May of last year. It's been a whirlwind, guys. So many amazing watches I've been able to purchase, to try, and I just want to share and highlight quite a number of them with you here today. So let's not waste any time and have a look. So that's right, folks, I have been collecting quite a bit, but what I do love about my collection, guys, is that it covers so many different price points, from more expensive, luxury timepieces like this Tudor Pelagos FXD, which I'm absolutely loving, to even a Casio F91W. My interest really spans so many different price points, and I love wearing all different kinds of watches. So we're going to start, I guess, the more budget, the more entry-level watches here. I'm going to slide this box into view. There you see, and quite a number of watches I want to share from this box. But first of all, we want to start with Casio, because I do think Casio is a really great entry level, and you can be a watch collector and just collect Casios. Like this F91W, folks, this is probably the most sold watch of all time. I mean, I don't know how many millions of units they sold of this watch. I also have this beautiful calculator watch I had back in the day, and I've been picking these up. Just really fun watches to wear, like my AE 1500. This is a great watch. I wore this in camping, for that type of event. And I also have this, I guess it's a Casio alarm watch with a vibration alarm. It's been useful sometimes wearing it to bed. Now we're going to cover G-Shock a bit later, because I did want to do a shout out here to Casio. Incredible budget watches that you can pick up. But now we're going to move into another brand, and I have quite a few of these guys, Seiko. I would say in the first couple months in my watch collecting journey, I kind of overdid it with the Seikos. I got really into the Seikos, but I do want to highlight a few here that for me represent kind of my journey in Seikos. The first one is the Prospex Save the Ocean Samurai. And you can see with this gorgeous blue dial going from light blue to dark blue. This Hardlex crystal, the 4R30-35 movement, if I'm not mistaken. And I did put it onto this NATO strap, which I think looks really nice. I don't love the bracelet of this watch, but it is a terrific watch. And the dial, I tell you, when I first picked this up in June of 2021, just like weeks into my obsession of watches, I thought this would be the only Seiko I would pick up for a long time. How I was sorely mistaken, because the journey with Seiko definitely became a bit wild. I then end up picking up this Seiko, there you see it, Presage, and this is the matcha version. It's one of the few dress watches that I do own, because I normally don't wear dress watches. I like kind of more in a tool watch bracelet vibe these days, but I do love wearing this watch. And there you see it is the 4R35 movement. Look, it's all about the dial on this one though, and it is a stunning dial, and I do love wearing it from time to time. But of course, the big thing with Seikos and me has been really in the Prospex series. This has got to be one of my favorites. This King Turtle. Shout out to Ocean from Timeless Watch Channel. It was literally his video that clued me onto this watch, and I remember when I finally picked this one up, I was just like, wow, this is such a cool watch, such a rugged, amazing watch. It's got that grenade style dial and the cushion case. Yes, it's a bit large on the wrist, but not much larger you see than even a Tudor Pelagos 42mm. But you see you have these Cyclops. It's a little bit controversial. It is a terrific watch nonetheless. And a few other highlights of Seiko I did want to share. I did pick up the Seiko 5, and it's the field watch version. And you can notice a trend here. Yes, I'm into green watches. I think that is kind of the overall trend to my watch collection here. There you see a couple more of the G-Shocks. I love G-Shocks, guys. And this one, just quick shout out to it, is amazing. The DW5600. Honestly, if you could only pick up one watch for $50, this is the one to pick up. You don't need any of this other stuff. You could be totally happy with this. Also picked up a Seiko Tuna. This is like the Street Series Tuna, and I do like it, although I do think it's a little bit small on the wrist. And I kind of wish I'd picked up a slightly larger version. This is almost like a ladies' size version of the watch. So lesson learned, sometimes you pick up watches that work and sometimes you don't. But I would say my favorite Seiko that I have, hands down, has got to be my Seiko SPB 153, the Willard. And guys, I just gotta tell you, this was crazy when I picked this up. I did not imagine I would ever spend this much money on a Seiko, but I love this watch. Everything about this watch is incredible, from the rubber strap to, of course, you have the 6R 35 movement, you have 70 hours of power reserve on this bad boy, and you have the Willard looks from Apocalypse Now. I did a whole video on this watch. Look at that dial. It is pretty subtle, but I just love this kind of olive green and the cushion case. It is a terrific watch, great weekend watch, the Seiko SPB 153 Willard. But now we got to talk about one brand, and yes, it's a part of Casio, but it is a watch series. I would put it in my top 5 of watches that I've just loved collecting in my first 9 months of watch collecting, and that is none other than GA 2100 Casioaks. Guys, these Casioaks are like a guilty pleasure. I absolutely love them. I've collected a few for my wife, and I've collected a few for myself. And just want to share with you guys some of the ones that I picked up. I picked up this green, military green color version, but then I did see this yellow variant, and I love these two colors. Green and yellow are two of my favorite colors. And so you would think I'd be satisfied with that. Well, no, and picked up this, the metal version of the Casioak in green. And I gotta say, this is kind of the culmination Casioak, because it is a bit pricier, definitely, but it does have this beautiful metallic case and really just next level rubber strap. Everything is just a bit more premium than the typical Casioak. But I want to show you guys something very special, and that is my modded gray Casioak with a Royal Oak homage bracelet. Now you can pick these up in AliExpress and basically just insert the module, and let me tell you guys, this thing is just so much fun to wear. People truly think that this is a Royal Oak, but you know, I'm not trying to fool anyone. It's really more to give the Casioak the full metallic treatment, and I think it looks stunning with this version of the watch. Really special. And other honorable mentions here, the Orient that I picked up very early on in my watch collecting. I haven't worn this one very much though, and I'm thinking of selling it, to be honest. Another watch I haven't worn much, but I do appreciate it, is this Laco Osberg 42mm. But this watch does have terrific lume. I gotta show you it. This is really what kind of turned me onto this watch. There you see it. The entire dial is loomed, and it has a really nice look, but I just don't wear it as much, probably because of the leather strap. I find myself wearing a lot of bracelets. And if there's only one watch though that I want to highlight from this first box as probably my favorite of this kind of, let's call it under $1,000 US range, it's gotta be the PRX Powermatic 80. And I gotta say, this has been so much fun, guys. I really did not expect to like this style of watch as much as I do. Of course, yes, you get Royal Oak vibes, you have Rolex, Oyster Quartz vibes from this watch, but it's a well-built watch, and it's got that Powermatic 80 hours power reserve, a terrific bracelet, you know, punches well above its weight. I mean, it is a really solid bracelet. You need to see this one in the store to really understand it is a quality watch. It's the only integrated bracelet watch that I actually own at this point. Yeah, maybe in the future I'll pick up more expensive versions of this style of watch, but for now, this is my favorite, I would say sub $1,000 watch, the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. And so here we go, folks, entering what I call the big guns. This is really kind of my top collection here of watches. And before we go into that, though, I do have under this sleeve a number of important watches that I do enjoy and I do wear, and some that I've even picked up in auction. But this one holds a special place in my heart. This is a Juvenia, what's called the Sextant. And it is a watch that uses protractors, rulers, and like a compass to be able to tell the time. Super cool watch. Yes, it is actually the only gold watch that I own, but more importantly, this was my graduation watch. My dad gave me this watch basically when I graduated from high school, and was a very important watch. I just updated with this new leather strap to give it a new lease on life. I love this thing. It will always be a part of my collection. But another watch I've been wearing a lot, guys, has been this, the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical. Now, I had been wanting to pick up this style of watch for the longest time, and when I saw this one in the store, I said, I gotta jump on this. You know, I'm not really into field watches. As you can see, I don't have many of them, but this watch has been terrific. I love the slim nature of it. The 80 hours of power reserve has been great. Yes, it is manual wind, but you know, I do appreciate that on watches. We'll get to a manual wind watch, one of my favorites, very soon, but I do wear this to bed a lot, guys. It's a terrific watch for the money, just under $500 US. You can't do much better for that price. And one last watch from this kind of bottom section here I wanted to highlight was this. This is a no-name watch, guys. I actually picked this up in auction, paid around $700 for it, but let me tell you, it is one of the coolest watches in my collection. This is what's called a jump hour watch, and it is made not of stainless steel, guys, nickel. This is a nickel watch from 1930, and if you can see it there, let's try to zoom in. You can actually see how it works. It shows you the hours, the minutes, and the seconds. And yes, it's slowly moving. You see it there. It is running. And this thing is actually super accurate. I couldn't believe how accurate it actually is. Even after almost 100 years, still running. Incredible. And the last highlight here from the bottom drawer. My only pocket watch in this collection is a Patek Philippe pocket watch from the 1920s. I picked this one up probably 3 or 4 years ago before I even had gotten into watches. That's why this one is very special. You may, if you follow Frankie Tech, my main tech channel, you may have seen this watch in a number of videos, battery drain tests. I have used this watch, and every time people see it, they're like, hey, wow, that is an incredible watch. It is a beauty, guys. I absolutely love it, and to this date is the only Patek Philippe watch that I own. Stay tuned to part 2 of my State of the Collection 2022 video.